Hello, let's do the New York Times Hard Sudoku for January 2nd, 2025. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. All right, let's start with this 1 and 2 over here. We have two ones here, puts a 1 in one of these two cells. This 2 looks into here and here. It doesn't really do anything. Okay, we got the 5. Okay, so these 5s do limit 5 to one of these two cells. That's worth marking for two reasons. One is the kind of always useful thing with corner marks, and why I always corner mark when there's 2 places left, sometimes 3 if they're all in a line, is because we want to know when we've created a hidden single, right? When one of these 5s gets eliminated, either by having a 5 in its row or column, or by placing a different digit on top of it, we now know immediately, because there's only one corner mark left in the box, that we can place a hidden single. So that's always what's nice about our corner marks. But an additional niceness about the corner marks is we could potentially find a hidden pair in this case, or even a hidden triple. But basically, if we are able to limit another corner mark to just these 2 cells, or 3 corner marks to these 2 cells plus a third one anywhere, then we know we found a hidden triple or a hidden pair, and that can be useful as well. So I don't know if this puzzle is going to have that, but you won't know unless you start corner marking. All right. So we did the 5 here. How about the 5 here? So here it's 3 left, but they're not all in a line, so I'm not going to corner mark that. All right. The 7. So like little mental notes that I can make, even though I'm not going to actually note, is that the 7 is limited to these 3, and so is the 2. Right? We have the 2 and the 7 up here, looking into here. That means that the 2 and the 7 are kind of smeared across these 3 cells. I know it's kind of a weird way to think about it, but if there was another digit up here that wasn't 1, 4, or 8, that would cause us to have a hidden triple here. Similar to this 1, 4, 8. We always want to check the other way as well, because there can be things going on with the columns. But 1, 4, and 8 can't go here. So 1, 4, and 8, 3 digits are smeared across these 4 cells. Now, we already know the 1 is limited to these 2. If, for example, this 5 ends up true, then we'll know this ends up being the 1, 4, 8. We don't have any column that has all of 1, 4, 8 to help us out immediately, but these are things to think about. And then what that tells us also is that these 3 cells are seeing 5 digits already. They're seeing the 1, 2, 4, 7, 8. There's only 9 digits, so that leaves 4 left for these 3. And there may be stuff vertically, like the 6, like the 3, like the 5, right? That are going to limit these cells further. So it's worth thinking about what are those 5 digits and how are they affected by the columns. So we know this column's not going to be helpful. It only has the 7. We already have 2 and 7. But here, like, look at this. We saw the 3, 5, and 6. That's 3 more digits they can't be. None of these are 3, 5, 6. And so how many digits can this cell here not be? Well, it can't be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So it's down to it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's down to just 9. So we found a naked single. And there can be naked singles that are just really hard to find, but I wouldn't classify this one as hard to find if you're paying attention to stuff like this, where you're like, ooh, I'm looking at geometry. I call this geometry, where we look at like the shape of the placement of the givens, right? And how they affect other boxes and rows and columns. So like I was seeing this 2, 7. I was making a mental note, like when I scanned that, they're over here, which means they're not up here, and they're not these 3 digits. And even that mental note there then makes me go, well, let's take a look at these cells here that aren't any of these digits. And sure enough, we got a naked 9 out of it. So I didn't know that was going to happen when I first looked, but I figured I'd explain it. And there we go. We found it. Now this 4 and 8 we know aren't going to help, right? So we don't have to even enumerate all the digits if we don't want to. You can. But what you're going to find is these are down to 4 digits each, and it's going to be the same 4 digits for both of these, because vertically we don't get any help. All right. So now we got this 9. We do want to follow up on it. Yeah, we do have 2 9s here. This 9 now helps, putting a 9 in one of these 2. So let's look at the 1, 4, 8. We did the 1s, the 4. We do have 2 4s looking down. This 4 helps. So, if you notice something early, you might as well do it, right? When I say early, I mean like I usually focus on the top band first, and this is like the last stack that normally I would scan. But I mean, if you see it, there's no reason not to mark it. Gets you a little bit to the end a little faster that way. All right. That's 4 and 4, 8. All right, I think we're done with this band. I'm not seeing any rows, columns, boxes with 4 or fewer. So I'm going to move on to this band here. We're just going to, I always like to start with the box that has the fewest givens. And barring that, just like pick the one that makes most sense. We have these 2 4s here. This 4 looks in, so there's a 4 there. These 2 4s look up or looks in. And I should specify makes most sense to you. This 4 looks in. So now this 4 is placed, and I'm going to do, this is what I was talking about with our corner marks. When I placed this 4, it removed one of the 5 corner marks because I didn't place a 5 there. So that places the 5 here. Now, unfortunately, this didn't end up a 5, right? And the 4 matches this 4. So now we have the 1 and 8 smeared across 3 places. It didn't help us place that. And this 4 didn't help us with this box. So that's unfortunate, but it happens. We just have this rectangle of 4s remaining. There's 2 more 4s to place, and they're not going to resolve themselves. Now, this did create kind of this interesting geometry where one row and one column are completely open. So what we want to do is look here and here for any digits that haven't been placed yet in the box. So we ignore 1, 2, 4, 5, and we end up with just this 9 here. This 9 looks up. It does put a 9 in one of these 2 cells. That points, right? If the 9 is over here, it's not going to be also here. The box needs it to be here. And that affects the row in such a way that the rest of the row can't be 9. That's called pointing. These 9s point from this box to the rest of the row, saying that can't be 9, and that lets us place this 9. Okay, now placing that 9 did reduce this row to 4 digits. So, and because I have already finished scanning this band, I want to make sure I follow up as much as possible on it for things that I would have done had it been in this state before moving on. So I need 2, 3, 6, 7. 2, 3, 6, 7. We know these aren't 7. So these are 2, 3, 6, and this one's not even a 6. I will note that this column we could also take a look at real quick. But 2, 3, 6, 7. Surprisingly, very open over here. Okay, so now I'm going to look at this column. We need 2, 3, 5, 8. This can't be 3 or 5. So this can be 2, 8. This is 2, 3, 5. Okay. So the 8 we know is limited to these 2 in the column. And that's going to help us because now we know that these can't be 8. Well, we already knew these couldn't be, right? But these can't be 8 now. Which we didn't know before. But the column is claiming. It's very similar to the pointing, but it's opposite. The column says the 8 needs to be one of these 2, which means that this box can't have the 8 anywhere else. Because these both happen to be in the same box, right? That's called claiming, because the column claims the box. Some may just generically call these, I believe locked candidates would be a generic term for it that covers both pointing and claiming. Or some people will just call all of it pointing. Call it whatever you like. The important thing is understanding the logic so that you can apply it in scenarios without having to pattern match necessarily. All right. Anytime we depend on pattern matching, we miss when the pattern doesn't quite work, but you can still do the logic. At least you also don't make those false positive pattern matches, which I see all the time. All right. There's a 7 in one of these 2, which I noticed. This being full also is kind of helpful for these vertical digits, right? So anything that's not 4, 5, or 9, which is any of these, are going to get corner marks in this box. So the 2 and the 3 end up over here. Whoops. And the row, of course, helps. And the 1 ends up down here with the 7. Now, this is what I was talking about with a hidden pair. I have corner marked the 1 and the 7. They're both corner marked in only 2 cells, and it's the same 2 cells. And so what this is telling us is one of these 2 cells needs to be a 1, and one of these 2 cells needs to be a 7. Well, I can't have them both be in the same cell, so I need to use both of those cells for just the 1 and 7. That's called a hidden pair, and any hidden technique removes the ability for those cells to be anything other than what's involved in the hidden pair, the 1 or the 7. So we've removed, for example, the 8. These can't be 8 anymore. What else have we removed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We removed 6. 6 and 8. Now that's interesting for 6 because we do have these 2 6s looking in. And this 1, 7 here, it was part of a 1, 7 hidden pair, can't be 6 anymore because it has to be a 1 or a 7. So that places the 6 here. And look what that did to the 2, 3. It made another hidden pair. And so now we know this is going to just be a digit. It looks like it's the 8, right? We removed 8 from these and these via hidden pairs. There's no 8s anywhere. There isn't a single 8 in the entire band or stack that was given, and yet here we go getting an 8. So Very nice. Okay, the rest, I don't know if I think I want to scan this band more. I barely scanned it. And then I'll look at the low-hanging fruit like this row and such, because it might just resolve quicker by doing a normal scan. So the 4s are done. The 5 does end in one of these two. No, this didn't actually help, but that does point down along with this 5. This 5 looks in, right? Putting a 5 one of these two. Now this is not a hidden anything yet. It's building up to be a hidden triple, but we would need another digit limited to these 3, and it would be a 2 or a 3 just because of the column. We know it's be a 2 or a 3 to make a triple there. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted with all the explaining. I'm going to loosen up on the explaining a bit now. So this 5 looks into here. There's a 5 in one of these two. And because the 5 is one of these two, that points. We're limiting that 5, and we get this 5. So now we know this is down to 2, 3. There's no point in pretending. Let's just pencil it. Okay, so we got the 4, the 5, the 6s are done. The 8 doesn't really help me too much. We do have these two 8s though. Places that 8, and then these two 8s. Put an 8 one of these two. So that was helpful. Now we have the. Let's just do this box. We have the 1. We have the 4. Our 4s are done. 5s we took care of. 6s are done. The 9. The 9 looks in here. Putting a 9 one of these two. Okay. Then over here, we didn't cover the 3 yet. Oh, that's very nice. This 3 looks in here, putting a 3 in one of these two. That points up, eliminating that 3. Also points down, but that's not good enough. All right. So we did the 3, the 4, 6, 7. Not really anything with 7s. And then the 8 we took care of. Okay, so now I want to look at this box and this box, which are down to 4 digits each. So that's basically going to potentially pencil the entire band. But we need 2, 3, 7, 8 here. So we know this gets into the 8. This is 2, 3, 7. We know these are the 3, so these are 2, 7, 8. 2, 3, 7, 8 has the potential to make a quad here, for example. We just need another 2, 7, 8 somewhere in the column, but don't know if that's going to happen. It's not. Okay. And now this box here, we know we're going to pencil everything because the 5s are down here and the 9s are up here, right? We mean these are not 9. So anyway, the digits we need are 1, 2, 5, 9. So these are 1, 2, 5, and that's not a 1. And then these are 1, 2, 9, and that's not a 1 still. Puts the 1 over here. That points down with this 1, putting a 1 here. All right, now we have this entire band penciled. We want to double check that we didn't form any kind of pair or triple that can be used, but I don't think we did. All right, so something's going to have to come back and help us finish that band. All right, well, we're going to do this final band here. So we have the 3. Not really seeing anything to do with 3s. We have the 7. That 7 and that 7. Put a 7 in one of these two. All right. We have the 4. We have 2. Oh, we already did the 4 here. We did the 4 here. All right, yeah, that's the last 2 4s left. The 5. Ooh, okay. 5 is placed in this box. We have these 2 5s looking down. Places that 5. That places this 5, which then removed an 8 corner mark, which lets us place the 8. We're left with a 2 3 pair here. These 2 8s look in. This 8 looks down, placing that 8. These 2 8s look up, placing the 8 and the 9. We have a triple left here. Always want to do that. We need a 3, 6, and 7. That's not 7, but 3, 6, 7. That means this is a pair for the column. We need 1 and 2. Okay. Just always taking a look to see if we can do more with that. That's a triple left in this box. So we need a 4, 6, 9. We know the 9 is placed here because of that 9. And so this is 4, 6, which isn't helped horizontally. Cool. All right. That was a good follow-up on that. 3, 6, 3, 6, 7. Something interesting to note. Remember I had the 2 and the 7 looking into here. I didn't forget that. We've only so far gotten this 4, but look at this 3, 6 here. Okay, this is something I could use. I don't think I will because I like my walkthroughs. I like these to be useful as walkthroughs, and I don't want people to think that this is how you would have to find this. But this is really, really interesting, and I want to show it. So, this 2, 7 we already talked about end up down here in one of these 3. What about this 3, 6? And actually, I think I can do this the other way around and get the 1 and the 8 placed. Yeah, I can. Okay, we'll get the hidden 1-8 pair in a second, but I want to show you what I actually saw here. I noted that whether this ends up 3 or 6, it's also going to end up down here. Because it's not in the box yet, right? It can't repeat in the row. So, let's go through both scenarios, right? If it's a 3, it's not here, so it ends up down here. And if it's a 6, it's not here, so it ends up down here. Right? So no matter what this ends up being, this will be the digit that is the clone of the digit that ends up down here. And then the other thing I noted is that it can't go here, actually. So this 3, 6 ends up over here. And this ends up only 2, 7. So we could actually mark this cell as only 2, 7. And I think probably if we inspected it, yeah, the column is 1, 2, 7. And so there's other simpler ways to have found that. And in fact, this column we should look at needs 1, 2, 7. This cell here cannot be the 7, so it's only 1, 2. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so then because, and then we can also note that this is only going to be 2, 3, 6, 7, which we may also be able to just see from looking at the cells, but maybe not. It's kind of like a hidden triple that involves a 3, 6. But that tells us, hey, we should look the other way. We should look at this 1, 4, 8. We already have a 4 in the row, but we do not have 1 and 8 in the row yet. And so you can also just see the effect on this box. Having placed this 8, I didn't follow up on it. And so we end up with a hidden 1, 8 pair here, which is kind of the most important thing to have found probably. And then this is 2, 3, 6. So could have found that in other ways is kind of my point. But I saw it because I remembered I was looking for something up here to end up down here. And I had found it with this 3, 6. So there's always more than one way to spot something, and that's just happens to be how I spotted it. And the more you kind of build up your intuition and things to like be looking out for and the important things to remember, the less likely you are to get stuck because you can't find anything. And if as the puzzle flows, the more things you can look for what would flow from here, the more likely you are to be able to just quickly get through the puzzle without resistance. Anyway, what are the 3 digits left in this row? I want to know that. Let's see. 1, 2. We need 3, 5, 6. So I'll just put that here. We know the 5's up here. Okay. Yeah, I didn't quite follow up on a lot of these digits we placed. We could have done these 2 5s, for example. I think we're good. I may want to pencil these. They may end up I know they're supposed to be 2, 3, 6, 7. Let's see if that's actually true, just from the givens here. So they're not 1. They could be 2. They could be 2, 3. They're not 4. They can't be 5 because of the claiming 5s. And so those claiming 5s are one of the things that kind of is built into the logic we had done, right? 2, 3, not 4, 5. They could be 6. They could be 7. Yeah, and they can't be 8, 9. So they do end up being 2, 3, 6, 7 regardless. I don't actually want that marked because that's 4 digits, but thought I'd take a look. Anyway. That was a lot, and I lost my momentum. In order to try to help you keep your momentum in future puzzles. All right, 2, 3, 6, 7 is still, yeah, I just looked at these. Okay. Let's go back down to this band, which I was looking at here. So, let's see. Let's just go through it again. 3, 5, we have the 7, 8, 9. Okay, 7, 8. I think maybe I was on 8. Well, 8s are done except for this rectangle. Okay, then we've got 9. Where you have a 9 in this box. Oh, right. So that places the 9 in this box, which also places the 4. That gives us the 2, 5, 1, and 9, which gets us the 2. Oopsie, other way. It gets us the 2 and 3 here, 7 and 1 here, the 6 and 4 here. That's our 3, 7. Ooh, these are not resolved. 2, 8 pair. It's not yet. We get the 5 there. Okay. That was quite nice. This row maybe 1, 2, 3. That's not a 1. Okay, never mind. I think I want to look at this row as well. We need 1, 2, 6, 7. 1, 2, 6, 7. This is not 2 or 7. Yeah. Oh, this isn't. Yeah. This isn't 1, 2, or 7. This is a naked 6. That gives us the 3 there. Could have looked at the column. That's a 6. All right. 2 pair, 3, 7 pair. This row here is 1, 2, 7. It's not a 1. Let me know if today's solve was helpful for you. I know that I spent a lot of time explaining different things, and so my time is not great. It's 20 minutes, but obviously you can see that this solve would have been much faster had I not paused to explain a bunch of things. But 2, 6, 7 here. Oops, 2, 6, 7. All right, what am I missing? 1, 2, 6, 8. This can't be 8. This is 1, 2, 1, 2, 6. All right, I probably am missing something easy to scan here. What is it? 8, 9, 4, 5. Wow, 4, 5, 9. Huh, interesting. Is it? It's not this cell, I don't think. This cell only sees the 4, 5, 8, 9. Look, 4, 5, 8, 9 in the row, 4, 5, 8, 9 in the box, 4, 5, 9 in the column. And one of those 8s. So interesting. I'm clearly just missing like a pair that showed up somewhere. No, that doesn't help me. Thought I saw something. 2, 3, 1. Oh, this 1, 2. Yeah, we need a 3 in this does There we go. That's 3. Does that do enough? We know the 3 is in one of these two. Huh. Not enough? 1, 2 pair. 1, 2, 7. The 1's point. 1, 2, 7 here. 1, 2. Where am I missing it? Wow. 1, 2. This is what happens when I lose the momentum in the puzzle. Momentum is very important because of short-term memory. 1, 8, 2, 3, 6. The 2 is on all 3 of them. The 3 is here and the 6 is here, so we can't do any like pointing from that. We have the 2, 6, 7. We know the 6 is point, but that doesn't help me. Nothing else points. 7. Okay, I'm just trying to carefully look at every marking to see if I can find what I'm missing here. 1, 2, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 1, 2 pair, 1, 2, 7. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. It's gotta be, maybe it's column related. Let's look at the columns. 2, 3 pair. Do I have a corner mark anywhere? I don't really have any corner marks left that are helpful. These 6s corner marked aren't going to be helpful, so let's get rid of them. The reason I say they won't be helpful is because it's already part of a triple. I know when the 6 is going to get resolved. This is easy to see. I don't need the corner mark for that. And pointing down doesn't help us to remember we're pointing down. The 3s, they're not going to help with pointing. We have these 2 3s here already. They're not going to help with this column. We have the 3 placed already, so that's not going to help either. 1, 2. Oh, the 6 is in one of these two. And one of these two. Yeah, interesting. Interesting in that it's not helpful. What did I miss? There's not much to look at. I'm going to pencil this just because why not? Okay, yeah. Okay, let's look at these corner marks. The 1s don't seem to be helpful. Neither do the 7s. Okay, so no more corner marks. This can be 1, 2, 3. It can't be 4, 5. Could be 6, 7. Can't be 8. This is so many digits. Is there really nothing helping? I don't think so. 1, 2, 6, 7. No, because the 3's there. We know that. 2, 3, 6, 7. 2, 3, 6, 7, 1, 8, 2, 8, 1, 2, 1, 2, 7, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. I'm looking for hidden singles. I'm looking for claiming. I'm not seeing it. Sixes are there. One. See, the one can escape up here. That would have been helpful if not, but 2, 3. 2 places for 3. Seven is one of these two. Doesn't seem to help. Sevens are like this. Huh. When I see it, I'm gonna bang my forehead probably, but what the heck is going on here? Maybe there's like a quad even, or you know, the one's one of those two. Hmm. 3, 7. I don't even know what to look at. What did 1, 2, 7. One, 8. 2, 3, 6, 7. I'm gonna look at every digit. 2, 3, 6, 7. 2, 3, 6, 7. 2, 3, 6, 7. Okay, 2, 8. 1, 2. 1, 2, 7. 1, 2, 3, 6. 3, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 6, 8. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Trying to see if anything I can do there. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 7. The one's here. Use anywhere. 7's here. And then we've got 1 to 2, 6, 7. 6 is here. That's everything. No pointing, no claiming, no pairs, no triples. No hidden singles. No naked singles. Box by box, 3-7. I didn't look at boxes yet. 2-3-6. 2-3. 2-3-6. 2-6-7. 2-8 pair. 1-2 pair. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. And 1, 2, and 7. The ones point. Sevens are like this. Nothing. Did I make a mistake, maybe? So if I hit this check button, it'll tell me if I've made a mistake yet. Puzzle not finished, digits are correct. What is it then? So my kind of, I've never had to use this with the New York Times before, but my last resort technique is pick a digit and run through it. See, and we're hoping to break the puzzle. And by breaking the puzzle, we can then analyze how we broke it and see if we can work backwards to what we should have found. So just randomly going to pick this 8. I feel like the 8's going to have a big impact more than the 1. Because if I pick a 1 here, I do get this. I guess it'll have an impact either way because it'll flow through. But let's start with trying 8 here. So if this was an 8, this would be a 2. This would be a 6, and this would be a 1. Now we can just work through this. This ends up a 1. This ends up an 8. None of these are 1, so this ends up 1. Yeah, we know that. So this is 2, 7, 3, and 6. That puts a 2 here and a 3 here. That works for that stack just fine. Looking at this band, 2 and 6 were used. So 2 and 6 means that's 7, and that's 3, and that's 7, and that's 2, and that's 6. The 2 gives us the 1 and the 7 and the 2. I may have picked the correct digit here. That makes this a 1, that's a 2. And I think that finishes the puzzle. So this probably is an 8. So we need to go back and see why 1 breaks then. If you just want the solution, we just did it, right? But it doesn't feel satisfying, right? So if this is a 1, that does make this an 8, makes this 2 and 8. The 2 looks down. So, okay, that's one thing that happened in both scenarios is these weren't 2, right? Oh no, this ended up at 2, I think, in the other scenario. Never mind. Okay, just trying to think. Because sometimes what you want to do is you want to pay attention to what was true regardless, because that can also help you. So this 2 ends up down here. So this ends up 1 and 2. The 1 ends up here. That's fine. The 2 gives us the 7 and the 1. Okay, that gives us the 2 and the 1. This ended up, oh, now we have 2 2s here. Okay, so this is our contradiction. This is why 1 doesn't work. But what we can do is try to figure out what was the kind of bare minimum logic here to break that. So, for example, was it just if this was 2, does that do that? That makes this 7 and 1 and 2. You know, I don't remember why this had to be 2. Hold on, let's work our way through that. So this being 1 made a 2-6 pair, making this 8. So if this was 1, this would be 8. And this would be 2. Oh, interesting. There's something to do with the 2s in this box. Because this not being 2 comes around making this 1 and 2. But if this is a 2, it forces this to be 7, 1, which makes that also a 2, right? So really, I don't need this 1 or 8. In fact, let's just get rid of all the corner marks. Sorry, I need to be like this. Get rid of all the corner marks. I just need this to be a 2. I don't want to fill it. If this is a 2, it puts a 2 in one of these 2. Making this a 1, making this a 2. Which makes this 1 and this also a 2, right? So it breaks this cell. There must be something easy here. The same would happen if this was a 2. So basically we need a 2 here. These can't be 2. And I can't figure out why. Is this a empty rectangle that I've found here? I might have found an empty rectangle. So the way an empty rectangle works is we know the 2 is either here or it's here, right? Because it can't be in this part. So if the 2 is here, we get this ends up 8. And if the 2 is here, maybe it's just the 2 being here is the problem, though. If the 2 is here, this ends up 2. 7, 1. Yeah, that's not that's not helpful. I don't know what I'm seeing here. Is there like a quad or anything hidden here? 1, 2. So just because we broke it doesn't mean we broke it in a way that's going to be easy to analyze, but it's interesting for sure. Basically, 2 can't end up down here, and I'm trying to figure out if there's some easy explanation. There probably is, and I've just been completely missing it. But basically, if the 2 ends up anywhere down here, look what happens. We get the 1 here, we get the 2 here. That ends up 7 and 1, and now this can't have any value, because if the 2's down here and the 1's here, that doesn't work. So because of this 1, 2, we only get 1, 1, 2 down here. So other than that 1, 1, 2, we've got 3, 6, and 7 to place. So it's kind of like a hidden... yeah, I don't know how that's helpful. We know the 3 and the 6 are going to end up down here. Yeah, so I did break it, but I didn't break it in a way that told me where my like pair or triple is or anything. Unfortunately. But that is kind of that's the best I can boil it down to, is none of these can be 2. Which does solve the puzzle. Because if any of these are 2, this has no value. Through the medium of this 2 and this 7, making this a 1. And now that has no value. Is there some reason that's more obvious for why that's true? We're using these cells. We're using the 1, 2, 7 triple and this 1, 2 pair. What is it? How are we eliminating that too? It's all in the same band. There should be something simple to see. It's all in the same band. How am I blind to this? So that's all it is. It's this 1, 2, 8 triple here. Okay. All right, so we've got this 1, 2, 8 triple here. That's all I'm seeing. I don't know. It seems equivalent, almost. Yeah. 1, 2, 8 triple. Okay. So that removes 1, 2, and 8 from the rest of the column. So this can't be 1, 2, this can't be 1, 2, and this can't be 2, right? So we get our 7, we get our 2 and our 1 and our 2. That gets us the 3 and the 6 and the 1 and the 2. It gets us our 1 and 7, 2, 3, 2, 6, 8, 1, 7, 3, 2, 8, 6, 7, and we're done. All right. This solve went off the rails because I couldn't find this triple here. I don't even know if what I was seeing was probably somewhat related to the triple, but it was actually something a little different. With just we couldn't put 2's down here, but eventually it made me notice that this 1, 2 seemed very important, and it did end up becoming part of the 1, 2, 8 triple. So this 1, 2, 8 triple. All right, that was hard to spot for some reason. I looked and I looked and I looked and I didn't see it each time I looked. So. All right. Well, again, this all went off the rails, but maybe it was interesting at the very least. I promise it's not every one of my solves is like that. Well, I'm going to leave this as is. Happy for any feedback, like, hey, this was no good. And I would almost agree with you. But I'm going to publish it anyway. Let me know how you did. And if you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.